He's swearing because we're live. Does that mean we are live, Tay? We're live.
Oh my God, we're live.
It says it. It says you're live.
We made it.
Studios in the heart of Guildfordshire. Yes, after a somewhat stressful journey for these guys.
Oh,
so
man.
We were in Prague 14 hours ago.
No way.
Yeah, and now
Prague's way cooler than Guildford, though, isn't it?
Well, I will say it's one of the most beautiful places I've been out of all the places.
Guildford, he means.
No, isn't Prague slightly ruined by British men on stag do's largely? Oh no! Help! Turn this off. Why? Oh, of course I've got the adverts running. I'm basically trying to watch myself.
Well, that's how you make all the money doing it.
I'll be honest with you. I was literally sitting there thinking, what is going to come up here?
So if you play an ad during a live stream, do you get double money, Lee? Is that how that works?
Exactly. That's what it is. Now I just need
to
log back
This
in
is just going to shit.
Especially if I hold the mug like
here
that.
It is.
Too.
Now, volume is down. Play. Where do I see the questions? Or shall I just... this was badly prepared.
It's okay.
It wasn't badly prepared. It was just prepared in a big hurry.
Well, why don't we, before we start asking people's questions.
Oh, yes.
So you've been in Prague. You two are on some epic Schecter world domination tour.
It's been going for off and on for probably, basically 2 years together. We've been doing this. We were just in South America not too long ago, which was very interesting.
That was an adventure.
Now we've been doing... we started in Germany and then Prague, then we're here, then we go to Scotland, and then where do we go? We go back to Germany.
Back to Germany and then home again. And then nothing until now.
Yeah.
It's not much of a break though, is it?
No, he was just in Australia. I was just...
Yeah. There's been a lot of traveling going on. So
whereabouts in South America did you go?
Oh wow, we went deep in. We went as far. What's the furthest down we went? Bogota?
Oh, geography wise, I don't quite know everything is, but okay, so we went to...
Isn't Bogota Colombia?
Yeah, we were in Bogota, and we had the altitude sickness.
Yep, we got the altitude sickness.
We got horrible diarrhea, which is always great. He got the nosebleed.
I got a nosebleed.
I had to sit down on the floor, like in the mall, like lay down on the floor.
Couldn't breathe.
And then we were in an elevator, and the power went out.
No. We all thought we were gonna die.
Yeah, and then we went to Buenos Aires, and then Santiago,
Chile, yeah,
Medellin.
Wow. Medellin was amazing.
Medellin was cool.
Oh man!
And then we went to Santa Cruz.
That's
Bolivia.
Super drug cartel.
It is. That's the narcos.
Yeah. And then going from Bogota to Bolivia, we got stopped. Our flight was at like 2:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
And they brought us out on the runway so they could open our bags and look through it for drugs or whatever. So we have orange jackets on, standing on the runway.
Tarmac, which is, I've never heard of that happening.
Yeah.
Well, look, before we get into the questions, and I will do my best to answer them. We're getting hundreds of questions coming in already. You two are both here courtesy of the lovely people at Schecter. We have an assortment of beautiful guitars around us.
Yeah. I'm gonna hide this ugly one.
Why don't we start with this orange beautiful beastie?
Oh yeah.
And talk about how it's maybe a little, what it is and how it's different to the other ones.
Yeah, I'll talk about this guy real quick. So this, when the idea of this guitar came up, we were talking about as we do every year, there's like a new color we've been bringing. In fact, the last time I was here, I didn't even have the first. It was a black.
It was like the super prototype.
Exactly,
of the whole thing, wasn't it?
exactly.
How it all kicked off.
Kind of.
You were one of the first guests we ever had.
It was like me and
Ian
Thornley, Mark Holcomb, or was it Misha Mansour?
There's a bunch. Literally just you and Ian Thornley back in the day.
Oh man,
but,
two Canadians.
we love the United. No, I'm not going there. Sorry.
Yeah. So this one, the idea when it came up like this kind of orangey color, I was very apprehensive because I thought, especially around this time of year, it's going to be Halloween guitar, But it looks, dude, it looks so good. Especially like, get a good look on there. Yeah, it looks so good. And I think this camera is HD enough to pick up the checking on the.
That was the first thing I noticed.
Paint. Yeah. Ooh,
that's my favorite part.
Thanks, dude. So it's the nitro spray, and it looks kind of vintagey, and it's got a wangy neck, which maybe you can see.
Can't you get that scene too? Or?
Oh, I've tried. I've tried. My healthcare doesn't cover. And then it's got I'm a musician, and then it's got an ebony fingerboard, and it's got these cool brass inlays and locking tuning heads. The whole thing. It's basically the same signature model I've had, and it's got these new pickups. These are Schecter pickups with the Alluvial 3 magnet and the Formvar wiring and everything like that. That's been kind of a little bit more, I guess, custom shop.
Yeah.
Which was the whole point. And it's just
does anything look nicer than a traditional style guitar with a nitro finish that starts to crack and
no,
the
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Just as a quick recap for people who are on a more modest budget, this has probably taken everybody by surprise, hasn't it? How popular
so this is the Diamond Series model. This is the silver green. Yeah, this is the third color we did, which is awesome.
Yep.
And it's basically I want to say it's a quarter of the price. I would.
It probably is.
I think, yeah. And
it's got even less.
Maybe even less. And it's got a baked maple. So we had to cut a few of the features. We had to scale them back or make them a little different because just the factory that this is made in versus the handmade custom shop it just can't do it. So it's got a baked maple neck and a ebony fingerboard, and
it's really cool.
It's got the close approximation.
Green one on the other side of you. I like that with the mint guard. It looks
actually these two together is like vintage Aquaman. Actually,
oh yeah, that's super cool, isn't it?
So you got to get them both.
Aquaman at the weekend when he used to get. You didn't see too many of those episodes.
He'd put on his pink slippers on the weekend and sit back,
absolutely,
with a cup of coffee,
pretend he was a mermaid. Really, that's awesome.
So yeah, again, this is the Diamond Series version, and he's laughing over there. And it's got the pickups that are like an approximation of these ones. Again, because these are handmade at the California Custom Shop. These are as close as we could get. These alone, these pickups would be like half the price of the guitar.
Yeah.
These ones. So you can't be doing that.
Well, we'll hear that in a minute.
Sure.
But you, Sir Keith,
yes, sir,
have even more weapons of choice with you.
Fleet of these.
Exactly, they've been multiplying in the background.
Yeah,
but this is same kind of story, right? You've got one super posh one, and then some of the more affordable ones here.
Oh my God!
So this guitar is actually a prototype, and I got it just before this tour. Brought it out here to kind of test it, see how it's going to go, and within the first hour of playing it, I was like, this thing has to exist. Somebody needs this in their life besides me. So what we have, it's a KM7 Mark III, but it's a little bit different spec than the standard Mark III or the artist model. This has got a few firsts on it for the KM line. You've probably seen kind of the evolution of it, because when was the last time I was here? It was 2014 or 2015. We did a video together.
I know.
And that was a few years back. So that was when we had the very first Mark I guitar. And so this is the Mark III, the first one that I can say is a true signature guitar.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, typically with a signature guitar, you would pick a body that already exists, a headstock that already exists. You put your own kind of features and specs on it. With this, I actually got to draw it out, map it out. We designed it in the custom shop, John Gaudesi and I, and he programmed all the lines, and I was there for the whole process. I hand shaped the necks myself. Wow. So I actually put real work into it. Spent weeks at the USA Custom Shop designing the Mark III, and then we adapted it to the Diamond Series line. And so what this is, typically we have a swamp ash body. These guitars you have here in the background, they have swamp ash bodies. This one has a mahogany body with a maple neck and Wenge stringers, and no top, as the standard and the artist both have a top on it. Maple fretboard, which is a first. This is the first KM with the maple fretboard. People have sort of been asking for that.
Sure.
And I wanted to just go with something really simple, elegant, stealthy, and I think we kind of hit the nail on the head with that. It's got a really nice cutaway for the heel.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some of the features, like the brass block and stuff, that
was all custom made.
Wow.
Yeah. So even for the import artist model, we still included essentially every feature you'd get on the USA Custom Shop guitar.
You've been through a few different pickup iterations, haven't you?
I have. Yeah.
Where are we at? Where are we up to now?
Well, so I spent many years working with Seymour Duncan. working at Seymour Duncan. And once I left there, I was just kind of open to explore a bit more. And Fishman was kind of on the radar with their technology. And these pickups are different. They're just a different beast than any other passive pickup or active pickup that's out there. The way that the voicing process goes for these is completely unique to the industry. And for me, it was really cool because I'm always kind of like future hunting. I'm always trying to find like what's modern and what's cutting the edge and doing something a little bit different. I mean, the guitar pickup has been the same for what, 80 years or something. The fundamental of it has always been the same. With these, they're 3D printed coils. I'm sure you've heard the whole sales pitch on the things, but for me, it came down to the voicing process. They hooked me up to a laptop and they're able to adjust the frequency curves of the pickup in real time.
Right.
So you can sit there and go, okay, well, I hear a little more pick attack. So they could adjust, certain frequencies to account for that. Whereas with a traditional passive pickup, you would wind it, hope you got it kind of where you wanted it. And if you didn't, you'd have to go back, wind another one, put it in. And eventually at some point, you just end up settling for good enough.
Yeah.
And with these, it was just like, okay, that's exactly how I want it to sound. And that's why I'm using these.
Bespoke to this guitar, or have you got like a KM set, or what's the?
I do have a KM set. This prototype guitar actually has a little bit different spec than the set you would buy just individually by itself. What I did with this is because I wanted it to be simple. The artist model back here has that toggle switch to switch the voicings on the pickup.
This little switch here, yeah?
Not this one.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
on this one here. So this is like the high-end import model, and it's got the full signature set in it with the 3 different voicing switches. For this guitar, we're calling it the hybrid because it's sort of a mixture of different specs from all across the line. And this one just has the main voicing from the artist model, which is like the high output, kind of no bullshit sort of sound. And then it has a boost, a subtle preamp boost. So eliminating, another switch that some people may or may not use. I found that I wasn't using it as much as I probably should have.
Yeah.
And I'm a simple guy, man. I don't need all that. So for me, it's just, I want it to sound good. I want it to be reliable. And so that's how we arrived at this spec.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to try and open up to the masses now. For questions.
Open up your heart to me.
And I must admit, there are hundreds of comments basically saying, how great you two look. Particularly Nick's hair is super popular. Loads of comments saying how great the guitars look. Not so many questions at the moment.
That's okay.
But I'm going to find one. And I know now that I've said there aren't many questions,
There's going to be.
there will be loads.
Let's get some questions going, man.
So let me have a little look here. As a musician, I'm looking for a company to partner with for mutual benefit. Any recommendations on how to do that? That's from Grey Fox 101.
You want to try that one first? That's a pretty big question.
Yeah, it's a tough one to answer because really, for me, and also for you, the company came to you.
Yeah.
And usually it's because they see a mutual benefit. They see something you have to offer. If you're trying to break ground in the industry and you're doing something unique, something different, that lends itself to a lot of opportunities to have, endorsements and things like that.
Yeah, that's a really great question. It's something I never even thought about because, first of all, I'm from a really, really small town in Canada, and I never thought I could do any of this.
Yep.
So my whole thing was, and also this was almost 10 years ago where there was no Instagram. I mean, there was Instagram, but I didn't use it. No one was really using Facebook band pages to a large degree. YouTube was kind of like the demo stuff was starting to get rolling at that point. So I don't know what the climate was like then compared to now. I wouldn't even know where to begin if I was going to start now. Like the noise is so loud to cut through. But I think the one thing that gives you any currency is your music. Like if you can do something cool with music, or if you release music that's unique to you, and you have like a unique voice or something to say, that's gonna outlast any of this stuff. First of all, that's like the most important thing is you have a thing. And then, you know, if people want to work with you, they'll come to you. Like they will.
Yeah.
They will.
And
they
they
will.
have to see that you have people backing you up.
Yes.
I think that's a big part of it. You know, like for example, you know, I mentioned him to Schecter.
You also, you know, it's funny, this guy here, he actually got me onto Duncan too originally, Seymour Duncan, back in the day.
So it's kind of, if you have people
Just
kind
from
of champion
talking,
you.
on the, we were just
Have
buddies.
you've seen that one as well?
Oh God, it's a weird.
Oh,
okay, what are you
fine.
gonna? No, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
No, Pete is moderating, but there was a funny one.
That's okay. I don't mind.
I'll tell you over dinner.
Okay,
Leave him in there.
It's fine. We can
care.
leave him in there.
I've been called.
Can I give a piece of advice of what not to do?
Yeah.
This is with my Chapman guitars.
What
hat on.
not to do.
When we get the copy and pasted.
Oh.
Hi, I really love your
yeah, you don't wanna do
guitars.
that.
I would love to, but then they copy and paste and get the brand wrong.
name.
So I've
seen that
always
too,
loved
yeah.
ESP guitars. I would love to work with you.
Dude, I get that sometimes.
I got that when I was working at Duncan. Quite a bit.
I get that when
So
people
bad.
send me music. They go at the very end. It's like, thank you so much, Mateus. I'm like, wait, what?
You mean you're not Mateus?
I'm not Mateus.
I thought we
son.
had Mateus'
No,
son.
no.
Oh, I
okay.
love that guy. God, I love him. He's so great.
Yeah.
So come on, more questions. Oh, I like this. Oh, do you know what? I'm not asking that because it's the same guy, but it's a good question. He's on point here. Okay, I will. So do you guys have any guilty pleasures as far as listening to music goes? Maybe something like Coldplay. Is that a guilty pleasure? Maybe it is. I don't know. Or Billie Eilish or anyone else.
Well, I will say, and people ask me that quite a bit. And actually, I don't really have any guilty pleasures because you shouldn't be guilty listening to something you enjoy. Like that just means you care what other people think. And music is something you're supposed to enjoy for yourself and with your friends. And if they don't enjoy it, who fucking cares?
There you go. I mean, yeah, I guess
I like bands like Muse. I like Coldplay. Sorry.
Fine. No, it's fine. Sorry.
I'm a dirty American.
Any parents watching this with their children, I apologize in advance.
Sorry.
We're live. There's no beat.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as a guilty pleasure for me when it comes to music.
I guess by definition, if you listen to like Ariana Grande or something, guys in this. But you know what's funny? It's like guys in this macho prog, and I'm like, wait, no, they're not macho. They're nerdy. No one's macho. It's a bunch of nerdy guitarists. No, I don't really.
You're my guilty pleasure, Nick.
I don't. Thank you very much. I don't really think of it like that. I'm just looking for like some good production, especially if I'm on the airplane. Like I'll listen to anything if it helps pass the time. If I can get through a 14-hour flight quicker, if it's some sugary pop, just feed it to me, man. Just no guilty pleasure.
We have a gear question here from Cloud Strife for Keith.
All right.
I don't know why he doesn't want to know what your answer is, but anyway, what's your favorite amp and why?
My favorite amp and why? All right. Well, I have a pretty special amp that is very not special.
Right.
I have an old block letter 5150 that's been modified heavily. It has like a hybrid tube kit, KT88 6L6 with a bias mod. And there's something magical about that thing. I bought it on Craigslist for $500 like a decade and a half ago. Did some work to it and it just rips. And I have all these crazy weird boutique amps that are handmade in Germany or whatever. And for some reason, this one amp just has the sound I want. And so that's my favorite amp. Old block letter 5150 that's been modded.
It's a great amp. I'm going to ask you that as well because I'm interested.
Oh yeah, my favorite amp. I have a few favorite amps. I always loved like the Fender, the Bassman. I loved the the Blues Junior. What an unbelievable amp. Actually, recently I did a tour, and it was backline for me by Mesa Boogie, and they sent me the only amp they had at a few gigs in New Zealand, and it was a dual rec. And I looked at it, and I was like, oh no, like, I'm not a dual rec guy.
Is that your guilty pleasure? This one here.
I can see those. That's a pretty good one.
At least for the
actually, I think Nick did do that.
Yeah, really. I've seen much worse.
Okay.
Especially after doing this internet stuff for 10 years, I've seen much worse.
Okay.
But a dual rec, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have a terrible night every night with this. But I played the clean channel.
Yes.
Clean channel with the one overdrive pedal. It was the best guitar sound I've ever had.
I think the worst thing,
Simple.
the best and worst thing that Boogie ever did to the dual rec was put the tread plate on it, because it immediately made it super badass cool for a certain genre, and totally just went, I will never use this for any other genre.
And the cool thing is it works great for both.
Yeah, it works
great.
great.
The amp so hard to like 97 or something.
Yeah. Okay, there are a few people here going, come on, we just want to hear the guitars. So could we have a couple of minutes of just maybe...
I'll show you what this guy sounds like.
Let's do it.
Let's just see if
I don't even know what we have over here.
Yes, you might have to find a patch that you like.
File something in.
clean sound, real pretty.
You're
really nice.
You're not. I noticed as well that you're not a big pedal guy, are you? So
not
what would you typically do?
Oh,
pick a crunch channel and then do everything
let's
from
see
the
what we
volume on
got.
the guitar?
So what I'm gonna do? Yeah, usually I'm gonna try and get a little bit of a lead sound going here.
Sure, fire away.
Let's see what's up. Let's see what's up. Oh yeah, this is a little bit backwards.
A lot of victory stuff in here.
Is there?
It's like all victory amps. I don't think I've ever tried one. Which one is like the high gain?
If there's a Kraken on there, then that's the one that's got
Release
a 5150 kind of vibe to it.
The Kraken?
Yeah.
This one, like a Rev Junior?
No, that's I would say that's a crank amp rather than a.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's on that one, to be honest with you. Rabir, oh, there we go. If you go through and find Kraken, it might be VX.
What's Kraken, bro? All right, let's see.
Oh, V130. Oh, no, there you go. VX Kraken. Again.
This one?
No, keep that in just on the bottom right-hand side of the...
Okay.
And then I don't know which one of them will be heavy.
Definitely not that one.
No, definitely not that one. There might be some more on the next page. I don't know, but by all means,
scroll.
I guess the more.
Here we go to. That one. Just to piss everyone off.
I can see what's going on here. So, see if this is
There's a cool question here.
Okay.
From someone that basically says, are the import ones just for people with less money? Do you actually ever play them?
I do,
and I know you do. So I think
using the other one on the
playing them every night.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And definitely, I've seen you play the import ones loads, and there's no reason why you shouldn't, because it's not. Even these aren't designed to sit. This is not like sitting at a beginner price point. This is a sort of an upper mid-range kind of price point anyway. So you'd expect it to be good. Nick's never played this one before. This has come straight off display in Andertons. got special. It's in tune.
It's into.
Any ideas? Got a lot of points saying that Nick's tone's not great on that one. So sounding good into
Is it coming through the
headphones
mics?
No, the mics get muted as soon as. Sorry, guys, this is a YouTube live fun and
It's
games.
a quicker. It's a run and gun. It's a spray and pray.
Let's have a little listen to.
It's kind of difficult. I mean, this isn't even my kind of tone anyway. I usually go for like this hollowed out low mid thing, so you can really get like. Yeah, sounds like a metal zone. Sound like frying eggs?
No, they. It's absolutely to do when our lapel mics come on.
Is that what it is?
It would appear to be. So, anywho,
That's the way she goes.
yeah.
That's the way she goes.
Apparently, Razor Gem 555 says a Miku pedal would fix all of our.
Oh,
Do you have one handy?
I
would love to try
we
that.
actually do.
That's that
you wanna
crazy-
Try a Miku
I want to
pedal?
try that.
Okay, I'm gonna get you.
I've never in my life tried one of those things, and
fine.
every time I see it, it just makes me laugh.
I need a power supply.
The dumbest pedal known to mankind.
In fact, we have our own custom version of a Miku.
Okay. So for everyone out there,
Oh, you
this
mean-
is what we're messing
you
with
mean
right
into
now.
a droid?
This is what we've
R2
reduced our
Miku.
lives
Oh my
to.
god.
So here we go.
We came halfway across the planet to try R2 Miku.
Huh?
Thank you, Pete.
This is going to be the dumbest thing
Oh,
that's
yeah.
ever happened.
I'm sure it won't be. Not on this channel anyway.
Oh my god.
Right.
So you run like gain through this thing, super hot.
Whatever you want, man. It's like
That's what I want.
Input. What do I want? So that's the input. There you go from your. Thank you, sir.
What is this thing again?
You've never heard of Miku before?
I saw the video.
Have
but
you
what-
heard
like-
of a Japanese sort of animation thing called? Is it?
Yeah, it's like that.
Hatsune Miku?
It's like
We're
that
backwards. Maybe.
virtual reality kind of thing, or like that hologram thing, or whatever it is.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
So. You might have to die because I can't see what's going on with the.
The other way around.
Here we go.
Is there a way to make that thing?
Just take it off.
There we go. So you've got the choice here of we go random.
With this thing. Wow, we just annoyed thousands of people. Like, doesn't even track.
You're looking at me like you don't think this is a usable guitar tone.
You know what? I would use that on my new
I think
triple
you
live
should.
album. 5 minutes, though, didn't it? People probably want them.
Well,
Oh my God, that
I like
hurts.
this. Ryan Boschel says it's Miku Jackson.
Miku
just
that
made
that
me laugh.
hurts my soul.
It just made me laugh. Right.
What do we got? Questions. What's going on?
There's questions here about would you swap guitars? So could Nick get?
We've tried.
We've tried,
I
yeah.
definitely
Can't do
can't.
that.
I definitely am unable to play a 7-string with any sort of, professionalism.
No, it's all cool. So, lots of love for Canada coming through here, which is good. Okay, here's a good one. Yeah. What are you laughing? Because it's
It's just
only
funny.
half Canadian.
It's just funny. It's like, lots of love for Canada coming in.
Everyone loves Canada, don't they?
Fantastic.
Canada's
Question for
beautiful.
Keith. Planning on more, if I say this wrong, I apologize, Alluvial records. Love
Planning
the first
on
one.
more Alluvial records. Well, actually, I left that band probably, I don't know, maybe a year ago, I believe. And the reason I left was to focus on both my solo material and also New Conquering Dystopia.
Yep.
But Wes Houck, the gentleman that started the project with me, is carrying it on. So
Okay,
he's
cool.
actually working on a new record. I'm not involved with it, but there's going to be a new Alluvial record. I've heard some of it, and it sounds like Alluvial sounded. So I would definitely check it out when it comes out.
Thanks, buddy.
I love that sound.
There's like
man.
the sound of a urinal in the
Yeah,
background here.
that's the
but it's
sound of my
I'll just take
life
the
returning
carafe
to
and
my
just dump
body.
it on my head. Thanks, Pete. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Everybody
Please.
get a beverage.
I'm not sure that this is that Nick's going to be able to answer this one, or either of you, Raleigh. But do you have a favorite overdrive pedal? That question is from Story
I do.
Music.
I actually do.
What's your favorite overdrive pedal?
My favorite overdrive pedal is the Strymon Sunset.
Really?
Yep.
Really? He said in a slightly more manly voice.
Did you not like it?
We did a video the other day with the Strymon Iridium, and we used the Sunset into it just to see what it was like. And I think it's pretty good, but I think my expectations for Strymon are so high.
Right. I will say, maybe it's not their best pedal, but for an overdrive, I like the versatility of having all the different modes, and you can basically get multiple overdrive sounds out of the same pedal. Yeah. And I use an overdrive as a boost. Yeah. Not as like going into a clean amp or an effects loop or something to get like a crunch tone. Yeah. I use it to clean up a high gain amp. And it does something kind of special for me with that particular 5150 I like. So that's kind of the one that I go to. The other one is the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. Yeah. That's a really great pedal. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people, have heard of it, bought one, own one.
I can imagine I can imagine if you need something to tighten up the high gain, the noise gate in it. It's very, very cool. Yeah,
I would use that pedal with just about any amp, whereas that Strymon I would use in specific cases, I think. So it's kind of a tie between those two.
It's a good tie. How about yours?
Man, I haven't actually used a whole ton of this overdrive pedals. You know what? It's very lame of me to say this, but I think my favorite overdrive pedal is the SD1. It's the Boss SD1. Yeah, dude, I've used that pedal so much over the years, just even straight into an amp, and it's always been great. Always.
I'm kind of surprised. Well, I don't know. I think there's isn't there like supposed to be sort of Satch or someone like that's got an old Japanese SD1 or
it's the light yellow one, right?
Yeah, and I'm not convinced necessarily that I think they've changed tonally over the years, and I think some of the older ones maybe are where it's at.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with like the HM2. Yeah, people look for the Japanese ones, or some people prefer the Korean ones, or whatever it was. I have like a few different ones, and they all sound different.
Yeah. Are the pickups in Nick's guitar low output or hotter than a sort of a traditional single coil?
These ones are. I've had two sets, and these are a little bit. I don't know if you have any sound here again. These are a little bit. They are also not noiseless, as you can hear. Yes, as you can hear. I'm going to go back to a cleaner sound just for the sake of all extremely diverse and extremely dynamic. So I've been trying to play. I've been trying to play a little harder, so have a lower output pickup, but hit a little bit harder. Yeah, and that was kind of the whole point with these ones, because it's got a different magnet in it than the last ones too. It's just going to change how I played a little bit. Yeah, these ones are definitely a little bit lower output than the last one. The last set, it was kind of like progressively getting hotter, but these are just all across the board, more vintage.
I'm a super fan of for playing kind of, you know, certainly bluesy kind of music.
Yeah.
The lower the output pickup, because you can always stomp on a pedal
Just
to give you
push
more,
the amp, yeah,
but
push
you can
everything.
never.
They're more
you can't
dynamic.
sort of
They're
take
more
away.
spongy and responsive.
Yeah.
You know, I remember. I have you to thank and for the advice that I've got on the Seymour Duncan pickups that were in my very first. I think that was where you were working at Seymour Duncan still at the time, and I've still very fond.
I remember that. Yeah.
I think I had. No, that's right. In fact, the guitar's here. That Squire Strat that's got the Clapton mod on it.
Okay.
That was what we had the exchange on. Was like, I'm going to do the Clapton mod on a Squire Strat, which Seymour Duncan's and so anyway. So yeah.
I'm here to help, man.
I've just
here to help.
I've just put a set of, well, not a set, but I've just put a 59 and a custom hybrid into another guitar. I'm a bit of a...
You kind of can't go wrong, man. I mean,
I know.
They're a heritage company.
Was that it?
They make great pickups, and they always have. You know, you can't fault them in any way.
I've got a horrible feeling that this became an experiment to see if I could be Stevie Ray Vaughan and have like 13 gauge strings on it, and I think I completely destroyed the neck by doing it. And even though I've put it back, the neck's never really recovered. But yeah, these are
beautiful guitar.
That was your this was a Can We Relic, like a cheap Squire
It's a
Strat.
made in China one.
Yeah.
No way.
And this one, you know, those affordable guitars have the heavy lacquer on the neck.
Yeah.
And so you end up with a bit of wire wool, and you think, I'll just take this off.
Yeah.
I remember going at this with power tools to try and get the lacquer.
It's like
just
4 millimeters thick.
It literally is.
Yeah.
Anyway, different guitar.
Yeah.
So let's do another.
Pass it back to him.
Oh, thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you.
Keith, what is the neck like?
Not that it matters to me.
Well, I presume he means a KM. Well, I don't know, a KM3 or an MK3.
Yeah, that would be
big KM.
Yeah, KM7 Mark III. So you got MK.
Yep.
KM. Wow, how do you describe a neck in words? What would you say?
It's smooth, so it's not got the same shiny lacquer that the body's got.
It's a satin neck.
It's wide.
It's wide, but it's fairly flat.
It's not crazy thin. It's just one of those, like, it's not crazy thin.
If he's ever played a Mark II guitar, that's what this is.
Yeah.
The hybrid has the Mark II neck profile, which is slightly different than the standard Mark III, but they're so close that I don't think anyone really.
Short of giving them like actual dimensions, you can't really.
Yeah, it's like a C-shaped neck.
Yeah.
It doesn't have big hips on it, I guess you could say.
Even dimensions of neck.
Without childbearing hips on
it's
his
very
guitar.
thin. It's very, very thin.
Well, there you are.
There
Hopefully you guys
go.
can see that from it. We need 3D TV that you could just grab. But even dimensions. I remember doing a video with Rob, and I had two Ibanez guitars, and the two necks, one felt huge and one felt great.
So
and I went, I wonder what the specs is. There was 1 millimeter difference between those two necks.
Yeah.
So I
you
just
can
think
feel it though. It's funny.
But I just think there's so much more. I've kind of really gone off of trying to decide what guitar I'm going to like or not like by the spec.
Yeah.
I think it's a fruitless. You just have to go.
You have to try it.
You have to try it.
Yeah, for sure.
We have another sponsored question here, so I suppose I better read this out. Keith, thoughts on neural DSP plugins versus Kemper and Axe FX3 for latency, pick attack, and overall feel?
Latency. Well, I guess if you're using plugins, it sort of depends on the interface you're using. That's going to sort of dictate, you know, your DAW rig. That's going to dictate the type of latency you're getting. But I can say that stuff, as far as plugins go, is the top of the pile. That stuff sounds awesome. I don't have a whole lot of experience with the Axe FX3. I had an Axe FX2 for a while. It was a great unit. It has a lot of cool effects in it. Nothing bad to say about it. I never noticed any latency issues with it.
No. I don't see why you. Well,
the Kemper is pretty immediate.
I wonder when someone says latency in the sense of a plugin. I agree. But I sometimes wonder if people confuse the term latency with just sometimes that slightly disconnected feel whenever you're using it.
Yeah, I think that's probably what he means. But with the Kemper, I don't really notice that. It's a pretty immediate thing. It does have a little bit of latency. I'm sure other Kemper owners out there will probably agree that it's slightly latent. It's not exactly perfect.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a processor. It's got a computer in there, but it gets the job done. That thing rips. we've been using it for years.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. Nick,
Yes.
is it true
Oh God.
that no?
Oh
is
my
it-
God.
Is it true that there is a Schecter with your name on it coming with an HSS pickup?
There is, and there's one in the bag over there.
Ooh.
There's one in that bag.
Is that secret? Or
You gotta
can we
show
see
I
that
think
off.
we can show it. Yeah, we can show it.
off. Just as the Schecter guys watching this video in the pub next door come running
They
back
come-
in,
Ah,
leap across the screen.
It's all right. We locked
Yeah.
It's
the
a
door.
nice color.
Yeah, so this is the diamond. It's also the diamond series as well.
That's cool,
So-
man.
There it is.
So same kind of money as the pink one.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
What's not to like?
It's the same guitar, baked maple, ebony, all that
Mm.
stuff. This is the prototype pickup. It's an Alnico 3 as well to kind of match the theme. And the reason I have one of these now is I did a new album this year, and it's resting on my foot. If you can get the camera down, there you go. Oh, a guitar stand. That's good too. And I used a friend of mine has a Schecter, and he put a humbucker in the bridge, and I used that on a few songs, and I was like, oh man, this sounds really, really. I hadn't used a humbucker guitar since I was like a teenager,
Yeah.
basically. So I was like, yeah, maybe it's time.
I look forward to you playing that one every night too, because it's a totally
It's a
different
totally
piece.
different
It really
sound.
does sound completely different.
Yeah, in a very like a cool way, because it makes
Yeah.
you play different, play totally different. Yeah.
Okay, there's a question from Raj at the Guildford Tandoori. He wants to know, what would you like to eat tonight? Because in about 20 minutes, we're coming off of this and going.
Oh,
Is that
we're
the
going
place?
to-
That's the
oh,
place,
yeah.
dude. That's the place we went last time I was here.
there's
and
no-
it was
there's-
so amazing.
Guildford Tandoori I've just made up.
Yep.
Because obviously it will be highly secret where we go to eat.
Yep.
Because of the fans that will come after you.
Oh, I don't think anyone
So-
cares. Come eat tandoori chicken with us.
Brilliant.
I'm
Well, that's
down.
where we'll go afterwards. But before we do, another question, another sponsored question from Schmorgan. This is a question for you
Schmorgan
both,
Freeman.
smiley face. Who do you look up to the most? Do you have any guitar idols?
Who's going to take that one first?
Yeah,
first.
you think? Yeah,
Okay,
why
well,
not?
my
Why
number
not?
one guitar idol has always been Tony Iommi.
Wow.
Believe it or not, since I was a child.
And what is it
Um,
about? Is it just the riffs? And
I used to ride around with my dad in the summer in his work truck down in California. And I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and he used to play Sabbath records, Iron Maiden, Priest, like all that kind of stuff. He was a rock dad, you know?
Yeah.
And the first time I heard Sabbath and Tony Iommi's guitar playing, just that down-tuned, distorted, dark, you know, groovy kind of thing. At that age, I was like, I want to do that. I want to make that sound. It sounds so cool to me. Like it spoke to me.
Yeah.
And years and years later, I got a guitar, and I started learning Sabbath songs. And so that's my number one. It has to be.
Good for you. How about you?
And we were just in Birmingham.
Where you were, and
Yeah,
going back
that's where we
there.
landed.
Yeah,
and
I've
then
got
we
a
drove
Tony's
here.
stomping ground.
I've
Maybe
got
I'll come out and see you.
Few.
Don't they have like a memorial or memorial?
Well, yeah, I was
Like
going
they
to say
died or
maybe not
something?
yet.
Yeah, like a tribute. They have like some sort of tribute thing set up in Birmingham now for Sabbath.
Probably
They do.
they
Yeah.
should do.
A few guys. Probably the one guy I thought combined the playing with the cool factor, and even being a little bit. I'll explain in a second. Like a little bit punk rock, just with some of his early performances and getting like booed off stage. Was Stevie Ray Vaughan. That first Montreux, like that first festival he goes and plays where all the hippies are
So
there, like
amazing.
the acoustic, and they're booing him. Like, and he keeps just playing the way he played. There was something so cool about him. And then obviously his playing was like,
Yeah.
and still is top of the pile.
Legendary.
You know, then Eddie Van Halen, early Eddie Van Halen, and early Yngwie, of course. Love that. And Jeff Beck. Late Jeff Beck, actually. Not so much early. It's weird. I liked him when he started playing with his fingers in the Strat.
Yeah.
The Ronnie Scott stuff. I mean, the list goes on.
But
Anyone
Stevie being the
he'd be at the top of the pile. And then now there's a guitar player I love. His name is Mark Lettieri. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yes.
He's one of my favorite guitar players. Right
Okay,
now.
cool.
He's
Yeah.
cool. He's super cool.
right. Well, that's cool. We were listening to a load of David Bowie. Let's
Oh,
Dance album
yeah,
the other day,
yeah,
and I
The
still think
sound on that.
I still think. I mean, I love Stevie,
God.
but I kind of think that a lot of his own material. You've got to be into that kind of, I suppose, Texas blues kind of thing.
Big time.
And it's not everyone's cup of tea, and it's been done so many times before, but I can still listen to all the guitar parts on the Let's Dance album.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I was listening to an interview with Nile Rodgers who was saying that whole album was done not by accident, but they had David Bowie went into a studio in Switzerland for 2 days, did the whole band did the whole album in 2 days, except Stevie Ray Vaughan, who stayed on for 2 weeks doing guitar overdubs.
That's cool.
But you just kind of go, that's such a guitarist thing to do, isn't it? It's like, no more overdubs. I'm doing it again.
Yep.
I'm doing it, but it's just amazing.
Yeah. That sounded good.
Right. Let's have a look, see if we've got any more good questions. I know that Nick talked a bit about this in his Captain Meats video. Wow. Okay. But thoughts on the whole having your dominant hand on the fretboard without taking into account the whole gear availability issue. Is that a question? Or just an observation?
The what? Sorry, available.
Are you talking about thoughts on having your dominant hand on? Are you left-handed or something?
I am. Yeah.
Ah, well, that would be why then, wouldn't it?
Right.
That one melts my brain.
It's so you're a left-handed guitar player that plays right-handed. I guess that's the question.
Thoughts on that?
As well.
Are you really? Mm-hmm. You both play golf left-handed, do you?
I bat left. I throw left. I write with my right hand.
That wasn't even a metaphor. That was a physical question about playing golf.
Do you play golf? I don't play golf. I've tried golf, but thoughts on that? I don't think about it. I don't know. I think guitar is just hard.
Yeah,
it's just hard. Doesn't matter which hand. It doesn't matter. It's hard.
But it makes no sense, does it?
I don't think it makes any sense. But
I couldn't do anything with my left hand other than play guitar chords. I can't write with I can't do anything dexterous with my left hand.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense
until you play a guitar, and then I can't.
Shut up.
And then, I don't know what he's saying, but
we know what he's saying.
I'm not saying anything.
But I'm not that. I can't really do anything left-handed other than I can play a few guitar chords, but it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. I know my picking hand has always been real bad. Maybe that's because it's my weaker hand, I guess.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just bad technique.
When I first started playing guitar, I played lefty for probably the first month, and then I switched.
Oh, that's like the hardest thing in the world.
Not after a month. I just couldn't decide. I kept going back and forth like, okay, which way is this going to be? Because like I said, I throw with my left, I write with my right, I bat left-handed. I just have this weird ambidextrous thing. So I was just trying to figure out which way felt best. And actually it came down to not being able to find left-handed guitars. And I was like, well, that just pushes it over the edge right there.
Yeah. I mean, Christian Bistrishki here.
Cool name.
Is suggesting that somehow or other that by merging your face and your face, we would create Mike Dawes' face, which actually, as I'm looking at it now, I'm sort of going, I can actually see that.
I see that.
Yeah, I can see
Mike
that.
does.
Wow.
Our love child.
That's a thing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll try and get
He's
Mike
our
on
brother.
with the two.
I
of you
love
next
that.
time.
That's what's happening.
You know
live
that.
stream
Have you
comment
seen that
section.
That's what our
Facebook
life has been reduced
comedian? Have you seen that Facebook comedian doing the AI thing where he does all the impressions and AI change? But it's like you think that he's just doing different expressions, but Google's new face simulation thing. It's like, anyway, I was just thinking we could have Mike Dawes here, and we wouldn't need any of that technology because the face would literally.
It's true. Yeah, he'd sit in the middle and
Hey. Anyway,
let's get him out
here. Yeah. Anyway, I like this question because it's so random. What is the first thing that you would play on your guitar when you think of the Netherlands or Holland, depending on which you're more comfortable with?
Oh wow!
What?
I know.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. Let's just move on.
I've actually never been to either of those places. So
never been to Holland?
No, I've never been to Holland. Wait, have I been to Holland?
Have I been to Holland? Have you? Have you?
I don't know.
I don't know if you have.
It's a beautiful city. Okay, sensible question. Sensible question. Keith, what's the best combination of mics to profile or a high gain metal amp? Actually, that's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Because I must admit, I think they're the hardest guitar tones to capture mic-wise. Is high gain stuff. So what would
so for my particular tone, I wish we could have set up my Kemper. We didn't have time, but the way that I do it is I have an isolation cabinet, and I just use an SM57. At the moment, I'm using warehouse guitar speakers. What is the name of it? Veteran.
Yeah, the Veteran is their V30 kind of.
Yeah, and I actually have I have some prototype speakers from them. I have a 50 hertz and a 75 hertz. which both sound insanely good. But I have this modified Randall isolation cabinet, it's just a 112 ISO cab. You probably know the one I'm talking about.
Doesn't the speaker faces upwards or
something?
Yeah.
So I've gutted it basically, and I put sound deadening in the lid, and then I also put like 703 Owens Corning underneath in the box, because those things sound very mid-range, kind of honky, because I'm a honky. And that seems to capture a very accurate representation of what the amp sounds like. It takes the room out of the equation, but it does something else. It does this resonance thing where the SPLs in that box are being pushed so hard that you're just kind of getting the full frequency of that amp. And that's how I profile. I use that thing, and I get it cranked just right. And the trick really for me is when you go to profile, you roll the gain down on the amp to where it's just breaking up. It's just starting to break up. Because a Kemper is accurate as it can be. If you take the gain structure out of the equation, you just have like the fundamental frequencies of the gain. When you go to turn it up and the Kemper has to approximate it, it basically is saturating a semi-clean tone. And it gives you this really modern sort of, you know, bloomy and fat sound with a lot of chord separation. So SM57 in an ISO box is my suggestion.
If you had the choice between, are you saying that's just what you use for doing profiles, or is that how you would record as well?
That's how I recorded my last record.
And you'd rather use an isolation cab than a 2 notes or a any? Okay, that's cool. The isolation cabs don't get enough love, I don't think. Can we build an isolation cab? Hey? Yeah, you have actually. In all fairness, why is that? Why is that secret?
Because I'm building one.
Oh. Well, we can't
it's
even
not secret anymore now.
It's not a secret now.
YouTube land. Do you want to tell us any more about that then? Now's your chance.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I'm currently prototyping a custom isolation box, starting a company with a friend of mine, and we're going to try to make some isolation cabinets that we think are improved upon any design that's out there, and we'll solve some problems for some people who need that sort of thing.
Well, good for you, man.
Yeah,
Well, could we, can we buy one of the early prototypes? Because we
Absolutely.
need one. I think we need one, don't we? Taylor's saying yes, we need.
Well, once you see the design, I'll show you later.
Yeah,
I think you'll need one.
There's a good point here, I think, from Game Thruz, who's basically just saying, I think all the isolation cabs that are out at the moment are so just crazily expensive, and does it really need to be?
It depends. It really depends on what you're looking at. I do agree that they're a bit overpriced for what they are. But if you go and you start adding features to those, sure, they're going to be a little expensive.
Right. Well, a lot of people asking if you'll play the HSS, Nick. So I don't know if you want to do a little bit of. I say a lot of people. Pretty sure it's actually the same person that's asked about.
I'll have to retune. It's tuned for one specific song. So
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys.
buddy.
Well, just imagine the orange one, but just with a slightly fatter kind of tone at the end. Keith, when can we expect coffee with Ola?
You have to get to Sweden first, I guess.
Yeah, I guess next time I'm in Sweden, or maybe NAMM. He had mentioned going to the NAMM show, and if I'm at NAMM, I'm sure I'll run into him, and maybe we'll do one.
Tell us about more music for you coming up as well, albums wise.
I just put something out in April. It was the 5th album.
5th.
I know. I'm always writing. I mean, I'll probably have something out the next year or two.
You do all the
always
artwork
working.
yourself on your.
No, I wish I did. I wish it. Oh God, it would just completely be solo artist at that point.
But it is
take everybody out.
Looking...
Thank you very much. Yeah, a year or two from now, I'll have something else out. It never stops. It hopefully never stops.
Somebody says, Nick, can I have that pink guitar? I don't think that's how it works.
I don't know.
No,
I mean,
it needs to be an exchange of currency.
If you give him some current legal tender,
you come down to Andertons
credits of the realm
and hand your credit card over.
Is this even
it could be yours?
Is this even a fair question? Satch or Vi?
No, they're two different.
Not fair.
Yeah,
well, I'll throw it your way.
Guitar is not a competition.
Such a politically correct answer.
They're very different.
I'm
they're
serious. It's not a sport.
different.
I'm just going. I'm going to throw some more.
Yeah, throw some more fire.
Which of the kings?
I actually have
a personal.
How about
I'm definitely. I'd say Albert actually for me personally. Born Under a Bad Sign for sure.
Yeah, it's a great one. I was a bit unfair there, Keith, and that's not really your genre, that one, is it? But,
No, that was a hard burn. Sorry about that. I
Kerry
love Kerry
King.
King.
He says Kerry.
Oh, God, you said Kerry. Sorry, man. And now they're all coming in. Choose your favorite guitar player out of 2. So I'm
All
not
right.
going to do any more of those.
They just come rushing in.
Yeah, boom. We don't want to answer that. So here's 50,000 questions. I think did we cover this? What is your home use amp, Nick?
I have one of these Mesa Boogies. I have for doing quick demo sketch things. I have a Kemper. I have a Mark V.
Do you prefer me or Rob Chapman?
Definitely you. What?
Dang.
And what else?
That's brutal. How do you even go there?
I know.
I mean,
well, it's fine. What the correct answer obviously is Rob Chapman, but as I'm sitting in the room, I appreciate the.
now, why would that be a correct answer?
Because he's a much better guitar player than I am. If it was
actually, you're a
competition,
great
he would
guitar
be.
player. You're playing. You've come a long freaking way.
Well,
man.
that's very kind of you. I've been practicing hard recently.
Wonderful vibrato.
That's very kind of you to say so.
He does.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. You got a vibe.
Right, we have 1 minute officially until we really should go and get some food. So I think we should just hear some more. Was it just generally quick straw poll? Was the last couple of times we played guitar coming out okay on this or not? Here we go.
Wasn't coming out very good for me.
Was or wasn't? Wasn't. I know. Well, we completely dumped an unfamiliar profile. Go on, say yes.
Does it sound all right? Because I can't tell. That sounds so bad.
Really? I think that's funny.
Terrible to me.
Do you want a metal zone? Someone suggested here with that.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like a metal zone.
Come on then, Nick.
Painful.
Save us. Play some sexy
I'll
stuff.
play something clean. Let me just turn my volume up a
You can indeed.
little bit more.
Oh, well, so what everyone out there needs to do is try and get to see you on one of these Schecter clinics at some point.
Yeah, we're in Birmingham
tomorrow. You were actually supposed to be
back to
performing
Birmingham
tonight.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have any time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, you were supposed to be doing an event tonight,
know,
but the flight got in late and everything had to be cancelled. And anyway, and we just rushed this YouTube live
We'll
thing
be
as
back.
something.
So we went straight from the van through the door,
Literally, go
live.
Yeah, exactly. So we're doing
after 14 hours of travel.
Is it PMT?
Yeah,
and then we go to Edinburgh.
Birmingham has a smorgasbord of choice tomorrow night, because tomorrow night they can either go see U2 or they can go and see Greg Koch. Oh, that's tough.
Shit.
Yeah.
I might go see. That's cool. That's great.
So, but
maybe he's playing after us. I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah,
where would someone go to find out what the schedule is for dates on? Would it be just on the Schecter website?
I would think so, or PMT, or
I mean, for the world.
For the world.
Mm.
I don't know where they go.
Well, let's assume Schecter.
Our social media pages and Schecter,
all over the place.
And
they're more
Johnston
promoted
music.
locally than they are.
That's true.
You know, internationally.
Yeah.
And you two will be out doing more music, presumably as soon as you get home, will you?
Pretty much. Yeah. It never stops.
Yeah. He's after this trip, he'll come to my house for a week, and we're actually going to try to write some stuff together. which is going to be a really weird mix.
Yes.
And then we're going to
Yes.
NAMM.
Oh man! Well, if you do come up with an album of the two of you together, will you come back here and
Of course.
play it for us and talk us through it? And we'll give you more than 3 seconds to set up
I'm
your
already there.
rig.
Of course.
I'm loving that collaboration. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you guys all for tuning
Thanks,
in.
guys.
Thank you guys for being good sports because I know we had no time to set up tonight.
Hey, man.
That's
That's how it goes. That's real life.
So what are you, tandoori?
I think I'm going to do the
You're gonna go
tandoori.
tandoori. Any hotter
Yeah.
than that? You sure?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go hot. Okay, how about you?
I can't do very specific Indian food because I'm diabetic. So yeah,
Okay,
I
fine.
can't do the right. You know, it's good.
Just that's cool.
I have an alley I go down.
Right. Well, we're going down that alley.
Yeah.
We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Oh my God. Sweet.
Bosh. Right. Well done.